So, when you think about the space industry, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably rockets, maybe some billionaires in cowboy hats, and these huge, expensive government projects. It all feels so far away, right? Kind of disconnected from our day-to-day lives. Well, we're going to dive into that because there is an incredible economic story unfolding right above our heads.
And look, let's just get this question out of the way, because it's what a lot of people are thinking. When you see headlines about space tourism or missions to Mars, it's only natural to wonder, are we just launching billions of dollars into a vacuum for bragging rights, or for the hobbies of the super rich? It's a fair question.
Well, before you answer that, I want you to look at this number, $630 billion. That's how big the global space economy was just last year. Now, a number that massive tells you there's got to be something more going on here than just a few vanity projects. So, what's really happening?
To really understand where that money is coming from, we have to start by tackling a huge myth, the one that really shapes how pretty much all of us see the entire industry.
And this is the myth right here. The idea that this new space race is just an ego-driven playground for billionaires. You know, private jets that just happen to go a little bit higher. And yeah, that part of it gets a ton of media coverage, but focusing on it completely misses the real story and the much, much bigger economic revolution that's going on.
See, the truth is, the most valuable part of the space economy has almost nothing to do with leaving Earth behind. It's all about a massive, invisible infrastructure that's orbiting the planet, an infrastructure that you're using right now, probably without even thinking about it. For example, just think about how you got around today. If you pulled up Google Maps or Waze or any navigation app on your phone, you plug directly into the space economy. That little blue dot that shows you exactly where you are, that's being tracked by a whole constellation of GPS satellites thousands of miles up.
Okay, or how about this one? Because it's wild. You tap your credit card to buy a coffee. How does that transaction securely jump from the cafe to your bank and back in less than a second? Well, a key part of that answer is space. The atomic clocks on those GPS satellites provide this incredibly precise universal time signal. It acts like a global referee, stamping every transaction so banks all over the world can agree on the exact sequence of events. It's a huge part of what keeps our financial systems secure. And then, of course, there's the daily weather forecast. Every single prediction, every storm warning, every hurricane path, all of that is built on a non-stop flood of data coming from Earth observation satellites that are constantly watching our planet's oceans and atmosphere. This stuff isn't sci-fi. It's literally the hidden plumbing of our modern world.
So this is what we're really talking about. The space economy isn't about setting up shop on Mars tomorrow. It's this entire ecosystem creating stuff for us down here on Earth. And that right there is the big mental shift. Space isn't just a destination anymore. It's a platform for creating real value back home. Now, this kind of invisible infrastructure has actually been around for decades. So, what's different now? Why is there this sudden explosion of money and companies jumping in? Well, it all boils down to one thing. One absolutely transformative change. The price of just getting there. I absolutely love this quote because it just nails the problem. For 50 years, the sheer cost of fighting Earth's gravity was like this crushing tax on any new idea. It made everything else way too expensive to even try. But in the last decade or so, we found a way to give ourselves a massive tax cut.
And just look at how massive that tax cut really is. Back in the space shuttle days, launching 1 kilogram, that's about the weight of a pineapple, into orbit cost you over $50,000. Today, on a reusable rocket like the Falcon 9, that same pineapple costs less than $3,000. That is a mind-blowing 95% price drop. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a minor improvement. This is a fundamental economic barrier being completely shattered. When the biggest expense in your entire industry falls by 95%, you don't just do the old things cheaper, you start doing things that were previously considered impossible. A whole universe of new business models just opened up. And with that cost barrier just obliterated, we're now seeing the birth of brand new markets in space. And these aren't just ideas on a whiteboard. Companies are being built and funded right now to chase them down, creating this whole next wave of the space economy.
So you've got things like global satellite internet, of course, but then there's in-space manufacturing. On Earth, gravity can create tiny little flaws in really sensitive materials, like fiber optic cables or protein crystals for new drugs. But if you make them in 0G, you can get a level of perfection that is literally impossible to achieve down here. And that's just one of these new frontiers opening up, next to things like advanced Earth observation, and even the long-term goal of mining resources from the moon and asteroids.
So what this all really signals is this fundamental shift in thinking. We've moved from old space, driven by governments, national pride, super long and expensive programs, to new space. And new space is all about private companies, radically lower costs, moving fast, and with one primary goal: creating brand new markets and generating real economic value.
And the potential here is just staggering. Some of the biggest banks in the world are projecting that all these new markets are going to push the space economy to $1.5 trillion by 2040. We're not talking about a niche industry anymore. We're talking about a brand new pillar of the entire global economy. So, it's pretty clear that space is changing fast. It's going from a place of pure science and exploration to a new frontier for business. But that leaves us with this huge, profound question that goes way beyond just business. As we start to build this trillion-dollar economy off-world, who writes the rules of the road? Who gets to decide who owns what, who manages traffic, and who settles disputes, when the economy itself isn't even on Earth anymore?